Yo, 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 it's the Minyon from AllCast Irish Gamers. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and check out all our social medias, guys. So yeah, if you haven't guessed it, it's Minyon's Recipes, episode 15, and it's back with the Danger Gren Maju deck. This deck is all sorts of insane. I'm telling you now, just sticking dangers in with Gren Maju, it works. Now, I already made a Gren Maju deck some time back, but I've had a lot of time to play around with it, a lot of time to mess around with things. This is my new Danger Gren Maju deck. We're going to start it off with, of course, 2 Ash Blossoms. Ash Blossom will just stop your opponent from playing if you remember to actually use her, that is. As you can see, I clearly cancelled out of the chain when it prompted me, so watch out for that. She's going to stop a lot of things. If it summons from the deck, if it sends a card from the deck to the graveyard, if it adds a card from the deck, she will stop it. DD Crow is another hand trap. I've got 1 copy of him in there. He's just a quick effect. Discard him, remove a card in your opponent's graveyard. It's just really good. Just when your opponent is going to search something, you just quick effect, remove the card they're searching, and it just shuts down their play, and it could buy you another turn. The first of our dangers, I've got 3 copies in here, sorry. Danger Bigfoot. So, if you don't know, the dangers work really weird. You reveal them, you shuffle your hand, and randomly a card gets picked. If it's not the danger, it gets special summoned and you draw 1. If it is the danger, it activates its discard effect. Now, Bigfoot has a really good discard effect. It targets 1 face-up card, destroys it, and then his polar opposite would be Thunderbird, also level 8, got 3 of them in there, and it destroys a set card. So between the 2 of them, they're really good at just clearing out your opponent's board, and it can be used for a simple cost. Most cards require you to discard a card. Well, with dangers, that's going to give you a plus. You're going to trigger their effect with the discard. It's really handy. With 1 Danger Jackalope, because you can only have 1 Danger Jackalope, and on effect, it can special summon a danger from the deck. So really understand why it's at 1. Dimension Shifter is so brilliant in this deck. Just, you need to open up with him. He's useless for the rest of the duel. You really want to get him in your first hand, because if you do, you can just completely disrupt your opponent's plays. Anything that they send to the graveyard is just gone, you know, and of course anything that is sent from your side of the field to the graveyard is gone as well, but it benefits you, so it's okay. But yeah, Dimension Shifter, he's a must. He's a staple in this deck. He can be caught by the grave, so watch out for that. Eater of Millions, another staple. He's like your miniature version of Gren Maju. He gets 100 attack and defense for each face down banish card. He can't be tributed, used for fusion, synchro, XC, anything like that. So if someone tries to super poly him, you better correct them, because he can't be used for that. He can be link summoned though. But his main effect is once per turn during battle, he can just remove the monster from play. It gets rid of so many problems. You're talking, in real life, you can get rid of Dragoon. He can get rid of stuff like, Borrow Load and other problem, Savage Dragon. Like, there's just so many problem monsters that he will just crash into and get rid of. It's not even funny. We've got Gizmek Aruchi, another major staple for any Gren Maju deck. Just a quick effect from your hand or graveyard, remove the top 8 cards of your deck and special summon them. And he also gets a nice little destruction effect where you can destroy one of your opponent's cards. You target it, you send 3 cards from your extra deck to the graveyard. All he does is remove. If you special summon him on your opponent's turn, that's 8 cards, and then you use his effect on your turn, that's 11 cards. That's Gren Maju up to, 4,400 already, just off of 1 card? That's crazy. So yeah, you gotta have 3 of them in there. And of course, the big man himself, Gren Maju de Isa. Just an unreal card. Now, he can be stopped by simple stuff like Effect Veiler and all, but if you do get this guy at the right time and the right combination, your opponent leaves himself open, you crash into them for like 10,000 or something, and it's game over. I'm sorry, pal, nice knowing you, but you're out of here. So you use your combination of your dangers, your Gizmek, and you just clear their field, direct attack for 9-2. There's no messing around with Gren Maju. He will just go up on stupid numbers just so early in the duel, like 2 turns in. Necroface is your backup card if all your cards are removed, you summon it, normal summon it, you shuffle all the cards back, it gets 100 attack for each card sent to the deck. But it also removes 5 cards from each player's deck if it gets removed from play itself. So it's a versatile card. It's just such a shame you can only have one of it in Link Evolution, whereas in real life it's back to unlimited. But yeah, it's a really, really good card. Who else we got? I almost forgot. Tour Guide from the Underworld. Now, in my real deck in real life, I actually took her out, but in Link Evolution, she's not bad. I mean, it is a way of guaranteeing getting Gren Maju on the field, even if he is going to be negated. So then it's up to you to like link them away, and then get him back from the graveyard or banished wherever he might end up. But yeah, it's up to you. Tour Guide is going to use up your normal summon. It's also going to be open up to like Ash and stuff. If Tour Guide gets Ashed, you're in a bit of a pickle. So just watch out for that. It's your preference. If you want to have Tour Guide, have Tour Guide. If you don't want to have Tour Guide, take her out, stick in something else. There's loads of replacements. Hell, put in 2 Danger Mothman and that'll kind of cover. So yeah, Tour Guide, optional. That's just the way I see it. You're going to come up against a lot of tough boards as well. You know, especially with Gren Maju, going first is not your bag. You will want to go second every time. Your opponent will cop onto that, and then they will make you go first. So you do need to have some sort of plan to get like Titanic, Galaxy Dragon out. Just something to kind of help you on your first turn. Of course, Tour Guide being a turn 1 card, if you wanted to make sure you knew where Gren Maju was, because more often than not you're going to end up banishing him face down, and then you'll be going through your deck looking for him. You're not going to find him because all 3 copies will be gone. Card Destruction, another good card that I wrestle with taking out of the deck, because at the end of the day it is still really good. You get to draw more cards, discard from your opponent's hand, which is always good, and if you've got Macrocosmos on the field, everything's going to get removed from play, and it's just more disruption on top of disruption, because your opponent might want their hand discarded, you never know. Different Dimension Reincarnation, another great card. Hell, you could probably go with just putting 2 of these in there, maybe take out the Left Arm Offering, because I mean you're going to be using Left Arm Offering to search a spell card you want. More often than not you're probably going to be looking at your hand going, oh, I wish I had DDR, so just go with the 2 DDR. It's probably a safer bet. Foolish Burial, because it's still a versatile card. Even if you're sending your card from the deck to be removed from play, I mean that can still help you if you send Necroface. If you're sending them to the graveyard, you can send a Ruchi, remove the top 8 cards. I mean, there is just so much play with this deck and the combos you can string together. Monster Reborn, even though you're not going to have a lot in your graveyard, it can still come in handy. Pot of Desires, 3 Pot of Desires. If you could have more, you would. It's just a great card. Remove the top 10 cards of your deck, face down, and then draw 2. Even if that gets negated, you still have to do the cost, which still gives Gren Maju 4000 attack. So it's still a really good card, even with the cost. This is probably the only deck that can make work of that cost. Pot of Extravagance. Oh, I have recently come to blows with this card, and I don't like it anymore. I activated it in real life at the start of my turn, as you're meant to do, but after a few moves and stuff, I didn't realise that I can't draw activate Card Destruction, and I lost the duel because of it, because it wrecked the game state. So yeah, watch out for that. Pot of Extravagance locks you out of drawing cards for the rest of the turn. It's okay in Link Evolution because you can't make mistakes, but yeah, that sucks. Heavy Storm Duster. I mean, yeah, you could go Heavy Storm Duster, or you could go Twin Twisters, or Cosmic Cyclone. You just want to have some sort of back row destruction in there. I went for Heavy Storm Duster because it's just a 2 for 1. You know, you're going to get advantage off that. You can't attack the turn you activate it, which is why you're better off using it on your opponent's turn, and then you basically get a 2 for the price of 1. It's advantage. I like it. Macrocosmos, because so many decks are ruined by this card. It won't be as effective in the second and third duel because they'll just load in a lot of back row destruction, but in that first duel, if you can get Macrocosmos on the field real early, you'll just see the panic on their face and the worry, because they know everything they do is just going to get removed and it's just going to spoil all their plans. Super card. It might mess you up a little bit, but it definitely messes them up more. Speaking of messing up your opponent, Trickster Reincarnation. Now, this is another card that's limited in Link Evolution, go figure. But it's unlimited in real life, so go to town with it. It's just great for disruption. I mean, here's a great move. You know for a fact he's added a card to his hand. You know what that card is. Trickster Reincarnation, banish it, make them draw again. What's not to like? It's like card destruction, but you're activating it on your opponent's turn. It only affects them, and it banishes them instead of discarding. That's a bonus. That's a plus in my book. Now, I've taken to putting 2 synchro monsters in here because you do have tuners, and if you've got tuners, you might as well, because the opportunity might come up someday. It hasn't for me, but if it does for you, let me know in the comments, please. I went with Clearwing Synchro Dragon for a while, and then I dabbled, so it's up to you. Dingirsu is a must. With so many level 8s in here, Dingirsu is just powerhouse. Just summon them, use this effect, send their card to the graveyard. Doesn't target, it doesn't destroy, it just sends. Super removal. And he also has destruction protection. If anyone tries to destroy him, you remove a material and it'll protect your cards from destruction. It's actually so underrated, that effect. Light Dragon also has the same thing, I noticed, so obviously I stuck him in there. So that's probably why you want to put Danger Mothman in there, just get the extra level 4s, because otherwise you're kind of hurting. You've only got Chupacabra. So yeah, it's level 4 XCs you're not gonna really go into too much, but level 8 definitely, and this guy you're gonna do a lot. I strongly recommend you do it on your main phase 2. Try to get your attacks in first, really cripple your opponent, leave them with no options, then go into your play, and next turn you'll have at least 1 spell negation to work with. It's not a lot, and they're probably going to try and bait you with it, so make sure you don't just use it on anything. Think clearly, then use it. But yeah, he is a super card, and if they do try to attack, he can change their attack to him. I've only used that effect a couple of times, but it's funny when you do use it because your opponent's not expecting it. Nobody ever reads that part of his effect. Obviously you got the 2 Borreloads, you got Borreload Sword, Nightmare Phoenix, because back row destruction is just inevitable in some games, and giving you that option to discard from your hand can also help trigger your dangers. So there's a few benefits to having your Nightmare in there. I have 2 because you're probably going to end up removing 1 for something like either of Millions or something. So be mindful of your extra deck. It is there to be used, but at the same time it's a little bit expendable. It's just up to you what you think is more expendable depending on what kind of duel you're in. Hey, like I said before, it's all situational. All of it's situational. And of course the last Link monster I have in here is Topologic Zero Boros. He also has a Gren Maju type effect. He gets 200 attack for each banished card, so he himself will be up on around 6,000, 7,000 attack points easy. So he's another card to have in there. I haven't used him much, but he is an option. We've got the 3 dangers: Nessie, Chupacabra, and Tsuchinoko. Just in case you want to load up more dangers. Definitely recommend Mothman. I should have had Mothman in there. And I've got Droll and Lockbird. Now Droll and Lockbird can easily be swapped out for someone better, like Phantasme, because Phantasme just works so well against Link decks. Any sort of deck that summons Link monsters, get him in there. He's just free summon, and he allows you to draw depending on how many Link monsters your opponent has in the field, +1. If they've got 3 Link monsters, hey, you're drawing 4 cards and you're putting 1 on the bottom of your deck. It can really help. I've also got Ghost Spell in there. I actually put her in for the 2 Pot of Extravagance because you're going to need more hand traps. Speaking of the king of hand traps, Nibiru, you can also maybe take him out too. I mean, he's not essential to the deck. Most of the time you actually want your opponent to have a monster, some form of monster in attack mode, so you can crash into Gren Maju on stupid attack. So I actually kind of decided to go with Radian, the kaiju guy. You know, he's level 7, which kind of messes with a few things, but he is dark, so it works with Allure of Darkness. But kaijus are just great at getting rid of stuff, man. So yeah, maybe swap out the Nibiru's for the 3 kaiju. He's the only, I think he's the only Dark Kaiju, so might as well go with him. Tour Guide, another copy of Tour Guide. Like I said, it's up to you. I'd go with Mothman in hindsight. Caught by the Grave. Probably should have it in the main deck. Really should have it in the main deck. You can maybe swap it out for Monster Reborn or Card Destruction or something. Left Arm Offering for this barrel. There's a few options you can swap out for Caught by the Grave. It's just so good at protecting your monsters from hand traps. And Dimension Barrier. Don't use this a lot either. But if you're going up against Pendulums, or someone who's Synchro heavy, or Fusion heavy, or any kind of specific type heavy apart from Link, this card is a must. It'll just shut them down. They can't special summon monsters of that type for the rest of the turn, and they basically just gotta end their turn. And any monsters of that kind that are on the field, it negates them. So lots of good uses with Dimensional Barrier. I have 2 copies in there because it's a straight swap. You just take out your trap cards, you throw that in. It can work, and if you know your opponent is running a like Pendulum heavy, Synchro heavy, you put that in. You see where they're going. They get their tuner on the field, and you just shut them down. They pass turn. You go into Gren Maju, attack for game. You will win like within 4 to 5 turns with this deck most of the time, because if it goes past 6, you're gone. You've decked out. You've drawn through all your cards. So you got to hit them hard. You got to hit them fast, and you got to hope that you can get that Gren Maju in your hand quickly, because without him you can win, but it's still going to be a little tough. He is your main man. Try to use him with efficiency. Thanks guys, I'll see you in the next one.